doing Bleach chapter 542. So I bet you guys are surprised. You're like, you're shitting on me. Where's the Quincy? I'll start off by saying this. This week of Bleach was a pretty sort of half-half chapter. You either liked it or you didn't like it. So the Quincy did not like the chapter, and I did like the chapter. So right off the bat, I'll just tell you that you're either going to like it or you're not going to like it. So, but I mean, we have to do the review because it's a Bleach chapter. So, okay. So, what happened in the Bleach chapter was, sort of just starting off where we left off. Zangetsu just disappeared and gave Ichigo his blade, and Ichigo is still inside his inner world, and he's just thinking back on Zangetsu, and I like that Ichigo said, "You're still Zangetsu to me." It wasn't like, "Oh, I hate you. It's like, we've been through so much together, you're still Zangetsu to me. So I like that. And then we go back to Oetsu, and he's like, "Get your blade, Ichigo." Ichigo reaches into the fire, which burns his sleeve all the way up to like his shoulder. It burns both sleeves all the way up to his shoulder. And right off the bat, you could just see this. So it's like, he's grabbing something with two hands. And sure enough, he pulls something out of the fire, and the fire just evaporates all the water, like around that island. So pretty much just dries up the sea, which is pretty cool. And right then and there, it's like, just as soon as I saw that, I heard this word in the back of my mind. It's like, power boost. I mean, it's a power boost. So, and then, Ichigo's holding two swords. And, like, at the same time, I'm kind of sitting there thinking, I wish he didn't, I wish Kubo didn't give him two swords. At the same time, I completely understand why, because, he's infused with so many different powers that it makes sense that he would have two swords, just have one infused with all the power. Although that would have worked too, but still. So, another thing is the shape of the swords. One is a short sword, probably about this big, while the other is probably roughly about the same size as the other one, but this one has a hilt to it, or a handle to it. It doesn't have a hilt or whatever. But so the one short one has like this, I don't know if you call it a hilt exactly, but you grab onto it, and it goes up into the blade, and then comes out into like this thing that covers his fist. But it wraps all the way around and touches back and goes up, so it's like there's no opening. So the only opening is like you go like this, and then there's something blocking here, and there's something up here. So you hold it like that. So that's the short one. The long one is one with a long handle. You grab it, and then the rest is just sword. And there's nothing to protect the hand or anything. So he has two swords, and I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh, look, he doesn't have a regular Shikai, it's his release form already, like he already has a release form." But what I think it is I think whenever you're forging the blades, I think that they're forged in the release Shikai. Because, that's sort of the Zanpakuto's identity. Every Zanpakuto is different whenever it's in the released form. So, I think it's whenever Zabimaru was made, or, Renji's new sword, I think it was made in the Shikai's released. Byakuya was made in the Shikai release, made. Well, if they were made from Oetsu. But, and I think Ichigo's will revert back to regular Shikai, a regular Zanpakuto, just a skinny katana sword. And I think he'll only have one. I think his will be like Ukitake and Kyoraku's swords, where they put their hands together and all of a sudden they pull a second sword out of the first one to release it. So, and I also like this because it's not unique in Soul Society. Having two swords, I mean, it's kind of unique, Kubo's done all that, but it's not like, oh, Ichigo's the only one. Ichigo mastered Bankai in 3 days. Only one. Except for Renji, who was been practicing before. But still, it's like, Ichigo's not the only one. So, Kyoraku and Ukitake have both done it. And maybe Ichigo will go train with him, considering they've worked with two swords. Ichigo's been used to fighting with one sword against Kisuke. Maybe this will be Ichigo training with Kyoraku and Ukitake. They're both two of the strongest captains out there. And oldest, I mean. But so yeah, I like this part where where Kubo gave us two swords, and at the same time, the opinions. And then there really wasn't much left to the chapter, was there? Just sort of Ichigo talking to himself, saying all this stuff. Oh, and then the ending of the chapter was Bach collecting the Van Rank and the Stern Ritter. He's like, I'm glad you've assembled all of you. So, and that's how it ended. Contrary to what a lot of people have been saying, I've been seeing a lot of people on Twitter saying that, Kubo's going to focus on Ichigo, or he's not going to worry about this Bach meeting for a few more weeks or something, or go on to something else. I think that we'll see this meeting, because, we were focusing on Ichigo. So, from the beginning of this arc, Ichigo comes into this little society, Ichigo comes in, he gets beaten, and then he has to go over to, he finds out his sword's broken. He has to get it reforged at Squad Zero's palace. Squad Zero comes, Ichigo goes with him. Ichigo goes to the different palaces with somebody, but then it goes to Ichigo fighting Asauchi. We go to Kenpachi for a little bit, just to, because we saw Kenpachi going into it in the first place. And then we go to Ichigo, finds out he can't have an Asauchi without knowing what he really is. Ichigo goes back to Karakura Town, talks to his dad, and talks to Ikumi. And then Ichigo's dragged back into Soul Society. Ichigo gets an Asauchi. Ichigo talks to Zangetsu. Ichigo gets his new blade. And now that Ichigo has his new blade, it's like there really isn't much else that he can go. He's got the new blade. He's found out about his past. He's done all this. And some people are probably going to say, oh, well, he still doesn't know his new blade's name. If it's not Zangetsu, or if it is Zangetsu, or if it, was his inner world look like now, blah, blah, blah. But I think Kubo's like, okay, we've gotten all this settled with Ichigo. Let's go check in on Uryu. And I still maintain, a lot of people think that, Rukia is the second main character. But like Kubo said, the Soul Society arc was focused on Rukia. Rukia was the second main character for the Soul Society arc. Next was the Hoikamuna arc. Orihime was the second main character for the Hoikamuna arc. Third, the Fullbring arc. Chad was the second main character for the Fullbring arc, and I mean protagonist, not antagonist and stuff. And now this is the fourth and final big arc, or whatever. And this is going to be Uryu, because Ichigo has a close-knit group of friends. Orihime, Rukia, Chad, and Uryu. And I know people are going to be like, oh, Chad isn't as big as, say Orihime. Well, Orihime isn't as big as Tatsuki, because Tatsuki knew Tatsuki longer, but still, Chad had powers too. So this arc is focused on Ichigo and Uryu. So we will be seeing Uryu quite a bit in this last arc. I know we've been missing him a lot recently, but, So I think that next week's chapter is just going to be focused primarily on Venerate and the Stern Ritter. And we're going to find out a bit about Uryu, and maybe see some powers he's developed, or maybe it'll even be something similar to Ichigo, like Bach will sit Uryu down and be like, you need to know everything about your past, because I know you're not fully committed to this yet, or whatever. So, yeah. But I should probably move on to the basic fact. Okay, so, badassness for this chapter, I'd have to say was about 5.5 or 6. Attention level, how much attention was I paying? Probably about a 6.5 or 7. Satisfactory. How satisfying was this chapter? This chapter was about an 8 for me. And remember, the Quincy did not like this chapter. So, just because it's an 8 for me doesn't mean it's an 8 for you. Because, what I've seen on what people were saying for this chapter was it looked like it was 50-50. You're either going to like this chapter or you're not going to like it. So, interest level, how interesting was the chapter? It was probably well, it was about 7. Comedy. How comedic was this chapter? There really wasn't any comedy to it, so I'd have to say 0. Fan service, no, fan service isn't even 0. Animation, how well drawn. Kirby likes to skip out on drawings, he does. And there was a lot of skipping, but he does like to work on his characters more so than the background. So, 6.5. Predictability, I can't even remember if I predicted any of this or not. I'd have to say about 7 now. Except for the twin blades, I didn't predict that. Not exactly twins. But yeah. Chapter rating out of 5 stars. Probably about a 4.2. 4.2 out of 5. Right. So, yeah. But other than that, not much else to say. So, I am the Shinigami, and links in the description, and I'm signing off. Jama.